And a very pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Moore School Stadium, the site for tonight's Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week as the Enid Plainsmen take on the Westmore Jaguars. As you can see, we're just about ready for kickoff. I'm Steve Marshall. Dylan Rivera is alongside. Dylan, very quickly, your breakdown of this game.
Well, if you're looking at the numbers just on paper, this matchup looks like it's a little bit one-sided. Westmore's offense is really powerful, and Enid has already given up 100 yards a game to 5 different rushers. So on paper, it looks like Westmore is a big-time favorite.
Jaguars will take the ball first, pick up the kickoff at about the 20-yard line, trying to avoid some would-be tacklers on the play. The ball carrier for the Jaguars looks like number 18. That is Dylan Taylor. And he'll get it out. And when I said a pleasant good evening, man, is it nice outside tonight compared to the first couple of weeks. And we're expecting a big ball game here this evening between Westmore and Enid.
Forecasts keep calling for rain, too. I haven't seen any yet. I don't know about you.
Looked a little cloudy this afternoon, as I live right in that Westmore area, but things have cleared off. Turned out to be a beautiful night. Dayton Wolf is the quarterback. We'll run down his numbers as we go. First down play. That's a pass to the far side that is caught. Reception over there was made, I believe, by...
It's 31, Brandon Arnold.
Brandon Arnold coming out of the backfield, getting the reception. Wolf on the season, you look up his numbers, and he has thrown for over 1,000 yards in the first 3 games of the year. And there's a quick hitter over the middle. That's complete. First down yardage. Once again, it's Dylan Taylor. And Taylor, a 5'8", 150-pound senior. First down, and very quickly you can see the Jaguars do not want to slow down and let the defense catch up. They are right away moving the football. Running play this time to the left side. Got some running room across midfield, inside the 45, down to about the 43-yard line. And once again, it is Brandon Arnold. So we've seen the same 2 guys, on the kickoff and also the first couple of plays carry the football.
Well, it's a very quick offense. If you've noticed, they got out of the gates really fast, maybe trying to catch Enid off balance a little bit, catch them off guard, get them on their heels, and then Westmore can just take over. And we've seen them put up big numbers, probably by this same strategy, I'd imagine, with 43.67 points per game for this Westmore offense. They know how to score. So obviously coming out of the gates quickly, that's probably a game plan that they've been planning all week long.
And apparently a penalty on the play is going to push Westmore back. As you get a look right there, 72, 3, and 4. Trey Stewart, 5'11", 265. Ethan Kopis is 5'11", 231. Tyler Kuntz, 6 foot, 250 pounds. They are a big group up front for the Westmore Jaguars, one of the largest schools in the state of Oklahoma. Wolf at the quarterback spot again, and looks like he may have gotten Enid to jump across this time. As we look at the records on the season, Westmore comes in 3-0 on the season, winners over Moore, Southmore, and an impressive victory over Mustang. And on the other side, Enid has lost their game, lost a tough opener to Guthrie, 23-21, then to Ponca City, and then to McGinnis just last week, 41-13. Here's a running play. Looked like he was stopped at the line of scrimmage. That's Josiah Hardrick, and Hardrick evading would-be tacklers and moving the football downfield. Nice pickup on the play by Hardrick. He's a senior, 5'8", and 190. Leading rusher on the team coming into tonight's game is the quarterback, Wolf. 106 yards on the season, so they are more of a short, quick passing type team. Grabbed from behind is Wolf this time, and he was taken down there by number 45 defensively. That is Donovan Raymond. And I think it's a good thing he got pulled down because he was about to get sideways with one of the big guys for Enid and maybe saved him from taking on a very big hit on that particular play.
And Wolf very intelligently pulls that ball down. He kind of had it cocked back, and that's where you see those strip sacks and those fumbles is when you don't have it in that position as a runner, and he tucked it right before he got hit. So smart enough and aware enough to know to put that ball in his gut.
So another running play is Westmore on the opening possession. Looks like it's going to be about 3rd and 4 right here. And they've already run like 8 plays from the offense and only taken off about 2 minutes of the clock as Wolf checks with the sidelines on the far side of the field. Head coach is Lorenzo Williams. Jaguars in their 4th season under his tutelage. He played at Midwest City, was an all-conference player at the University of Missouri, spent some time in the NFL ranks as well. Here's a quick pass over the middle. That's Tyson Edwards. And the Jaguars just seemingly picking their way downfield. Got to be impressed with what they've shown so far here in the early going. Line of scrimmage at the 18-yard line. New set of downs, 1st and 10 as Wolf gives on the handoff. Looking to go right side. That's Arnold again. A flag is on the field. So this one may be coming back.
There is a flag on the play.
We mentioned Wolf is the leading ball carrier on the season. 106 yards rushing. That's only, 35-6 yards per game. Arnold is next with 93 yards. But they've got a lot of guys out there with a lot of receptions. Phillips is the leading receiver on the team, even though we really haven't called his name yet. Colby Phillips has 17 catches, so he's averaging about 6 grabs per contest. So they are well spread out with the wealth of talent that they have on offense and a very big and strong offensive line.
It looks like Enid's got some size to him, too, on that defensive line, so it's going to be a big matchup in the trenches today.
Oh, pitch in the backfield. They lost it. Nina's going to come away with the recovery. Number 75 coming up with the recovery of the fumble, and that is C.J. Adams, as Westmore that time lost control of the football. And right there to jump on top of it is Adams, and the Plainsmen are going to escape and now go on offense for their first time as Westmore moved the ball at will seemingly, but comes away with nothing.
Yeah, I couldn't say that I was able to blame that on either the quarterback or the receiver exactly. The handoff looked like it was just kind of maybe misplaced by the quarterback, and then on top of that, bobbled by the receiver that was coming across on the jet sweep. And just that combination, ball ends up on the turf, defense has it.
Maddox Mayberry is the quarterback for Enid. He wears number 11. He's a junior. And the first down play gets the handoff there to number 30. That's Trentavious Mitchell, and he takes it out to midfield. I thought on that turnover it was almost like he was too close to pitch the ball. It was either needed to be a handoff or have some separation between the two.
Yeah, it was more of like kind of a drop. He almost kind of stuck his arms out and then kind of almost just flipped it up in the air, just straight up. And like you say, yeah, maybe if you're at that distance, just hand it off. It's a little bit of a safer bet.
Give up the middle, hit at the line of scrimmage. Going to get forward progress, close to a 3-yard gain on the play. Once again, it's the big guy back there, Trentavious Mitchell, for the Enid Plainsmen.
You bring up big guys. How about the guys on the offensive line there? 79, junior, 6 foot, 340. Caleb Stanley is 77, 6'4", 320. He's one of my players to watch today. Big number 77, Caleb Stanley. He's a big-time guy up there at the front, and I believe he plays at the right guard for them right now, or left guard. Definitely secures the pocket, gives the quarterback time to sit back there and find the wide open receiver. And the running back, obviously he's really good at clearing holes for that, so you can get through those gaps up the middle and create a lot of space for runnings.
The coach for Enid is Rashawn Woods. You recognize that name as one of the all-time greats at Oklahoma State University. And, of course, when we started live streaming games, Rashawn was the color analyst back in the day. He had a great success at John Marshall and decided to take his coaching talents to Enid this year. So he's in his first year as the head coach for the Plainsmen. Looking at a 3rd down and 6 now inside Westmore territory from the Jaguar 44-yard line. Running play for the quarterback straight ahead, and he is stuck. Big number 66. One of the first ones there. That's Josh Stewart, 6 foot, 252. He's just a junior, and he had some forward momentum going, but boy, he has stopped cold in his tracks.
Well, and we've talked a lot about the Westmore offense already, but keep in mind their defense is almost just as talented, only allowing 21 points per game as of today. And they've got a lot of quick guys in that secondary and even in that second line of defense at the linebackers. It's a lot of speed, and that speed goes really well against a team like Enid, who kind of struggles to really throw the ball because they know they can bring those blitzes in and really put pressure on that quarterback.
You're in 4-down territory from the Jaguar 43. They need to get to the Jags 40 to keep the drive alive on 4th down. Quarterback keeper tries to go over the right side. He does not get it. So lost his momentum in breaking it down there for the Jaguars. One of the guys there, Sam Olajide, 6'1", 242. He's a junior. And that's going to turn the ball over to Westmore. So Westmore had it. They fumbled it. Enid got it back, drives it into Westmore territory, but on 4th and 3, unable to convert, and the Jaguars get the ball back.
Maybe now I've got some time to say who my players to watch are for the night.
Do it.
It's a quick offense, so I better get it off fast. Dayton Wolf, obviously the quarterback. We've already talked a lot about him. He was a big part of their offense in the last 3 games, so you'll have to keep your eyes on him. Mikhail Davis on the defensive line for Westmore. And then the running back position, number 31, Brandon Arnold. So all 3 of the guys that I have got written down, I think have already gotten quite into the game.
Different running back on that play. That's Cabron Grant. I know when I talked with Coach Williams before the season started, he talked about, well, they really didn't have one go-to guy as far as the running back goes, but a lot of different guys, and we're seeing that right here. And here's the screen pass. That's probably going to be a horse collar tackle. That's going to add on to the gain there as he gets it out to Brandon Arnold. Good-looking play as they allowed Enid to come in on the rush. Enid bit, and they got the pass over, and so they're well into Enid territory right now and probably going to get some yards added on to that. So they're going to pick it up, huh?
There is no penalty on the play.
Boy, that almost looked like the definition of the horse collar.
Yeah,
right
and we've talked about it once before. That's something that they're really kind of picking up on in high school football is that horse collar tackle. And right there, maybe he lets one slip, maybe says, oh, well, he got a little bit more of the middle of the back or something. It just depends on your perspective.
All right, so Westmore with the football. Once again into Enid territory. This time from about the 30-yard line as Wolf drops to throw, wants to go end zone, has a receiver out there. Pass is going to be incomplete. Wondering if there might be a flag on the play. But, yeah, we do see one in the secondary down there. But where they threw it would tell you that it's going to be against the defense.
There is a flag on the play.
Have to wait and see what the call is. They're bringing it back to the line of scrimmage. I don't know if there was an additional flag thrown maybe by the referee in the backfield or not. They're talking to the Jaguars, and here they go. They're going to mark off the penalty, and that'll be another first down.
Yeah, and before our camera panned, I wasn't sure if they were going to call anything or not, and I was sitting here waving my hand in the air saying they better call something there because that was not clean defense, I can tell you that much. So a good call there, and that'll bring Westmore into the red zone, and this is something that they are really dangerous at is putting points up once they get down this end of the field. And we'll just have to see if they can convert here on this Enid defense.
1st and 10 from the 15-yard line in Plainsmen territory. Wolf, empty backfield. Looks right, now left. Pass is complete, has a receiver. Makes the first guy miss, gets inside the 10-yard line down to about the 8, maybe even the 7-yard line. Pass complete there to number 14, Tyson Edwards.
Yeah, good screen play out to the left side, out to that weak side, and let those offensive linemen hold their blocks for just a split second, let the running back get out of the pocket, and then toss it out to him, and there you go. You got yourself some yardage.
Watch Colby Phillips, number 17. He's a stand-up tight end. They're going to go over the middle. The pass is nearly intercepted. Trying to hook up there with number 18, Dylan Taylor once again. And the pass is incomplete, and Enid almost escaped trouble again. They got the fumble recovery on the first Westmore drive, but now the Jaguars knocking on the door.
Yeah, it looked like he almost let that ball get him into the chest, and you got to make sure you catch those with your hands. Got to have your hands out. And so when you get those hands out, it's going to hit you in the hands. You got soft hands, it's going to be a reception. You're talking about touchdowns, you're talking about yardage. But right there, kind of let it get all the way up to him and maybe hit that bicep or that chest. And that bounces out, and then you've got a bobbled ball, incompletion, 3rd and 3.
Arnold will move the ball forward. And they can get a first down without getting a touchdown, as you can see, 3rd and 3 from about the 6-yard line. They call it 4th and 1 now, so the Jaguars looking to try to extend this drive. Wolf sneaks up behind center, and the pile pushes forward. That'll be enough for the first down inside the Enid 5-yard line. And a good push by that offensive front.
Yeah, I think that's a smart play call. You know, you're 4th and 1. Just get yourself that yardage to get the first down. Now you've got 4 downs from the 4-yard line to get into the end zone. You don't have to take the shot right there. Just get yourself a new set of downs and then work your way up to that end zone line there, that goal line from the 4-yard line, rather than try to make it in one shot on that 5 or 6-yard line.
1st and goal, Wolf, quick pass out into the flat left side, touchdown. Jaguars on the board first. That is Cabrin Grant on the reception. Wolf knew exactly where he was going to go, and Grant makes the reception and gets it into the end zone for the first points of the night. Westmore goes on top 6-0.
Yeah, we're already seeing Dayton Wolf take over the game here. That pass out to the left side, and look at this formation that they're starting out with here in just a second. We have the pass out to the left side, an easy screen, just a quick wide receiver out. He just drops back a couple of steps, and then boom, he makes a move, touchdown.
And then the swinging gate, they're going to go for 2. Nice touch pass, but unable to come up with the reception on the far side, trying to hook up with Colby Phillips, and the pass goes incomplete. Well, Westmore gets on the board first. Nice little pass to Cabrin Grant as they get into the end zone for 6. Westmore on top here early over Enid, 6-0 on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. Welcome back to Moore School Stadium, along with Dylan Rivera. I am Steve Marshall and the entire crew from YurView tonight. Tanner Wade, Brad Shelton, Riley Cowan, and we certainly appreciate those guys helping us out and enabling us to bring you high school football at its finest. It's not Friday night, but it is Thursday night, which reminds us we will be back your way again tomorrow evening. A big showdown in Class 4A as Bethany takes on Blanchard. So make sure that you're here again tomorrow night for Bethany and Blanchard right here on YurView, your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. Well, Westmore had the first drive. They were moving the football down the field, fumbled. Enid got it. They drove a little ways, and then they went for it on 4th and short, did not make it. Jaguars take over, and they drive it down the field and put it in the end zone.
Yeah, and it was a great possession by Westmore. We saw a lot of different various play calls. We've already seen them kind of get into that bag of tricks. We've seen some sweeps. We've seen screen passes across the middle. Obviously, those runs. We've seen a lot of runs from the running backs just up the gut and even to the outside. They're really kind of spreading the defense out and making it to where they've really got to guess what Westmore is doing. They have no idea. It's not something stagnant. We see that a lot in high school offenses where teams have one really good player or something and they say, you know what, we're just going to keep feeding him the ball. Westmore is so balanced they can do just about anything, and that really throws a defense off.
So many different weapons that they have that they used already in this ball game, and you know the extra point attempt was thrown Phillips' way, and Phillips is he's actually the leading receiver, and I don't think he has caught a pass to this point in the contest. They've gone to Grant, they've gone to Arnold, they've gone to Hardrick, and now Enid will come out. They'll take over. Second drive of the night for the Plainsmen from their own 35-yard line, trailing here early, 6-0. And a give goes up the middle, and that is number 30 for the Plainsmen. I like what I see in this guy, Trentavious Mitchell. He is a big power back with lots of speed. And if he can get into the secondary, watch out.
Absolutely, yeah. I like how you mentioned the speed. One thing he really does well is explode through that hole. You see sometimes players kind of get up to the line and they kind of hesitate and are reading the defense. And that's one way you can run the ball, but the way he does it is a little bit more full speed ahead, that full throttle style running. He'll explode through that gap and pick up yardage the hard way.
Quarterback is Maddox Mayberry. He's only completing about 39% of his passes, in the neighborhood of 350 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. And when you talk about Mitchell, he did not play in the Ponca City game, so he's played in two games so far this year. He's rushed for about 150 yards on the season. And also looking forward to seeing Blake Priest and even Dagan Gibbons here tonight.
Well, and I don't think that you can look too much at the stats with Mayberry. I was reading something that said that Enid, their wide receivers have really kind of struggled with dropping passes. So that completion percentage, his numbers as of right now, are not completely indicative of how he's played this year. I think he's thrown a lot of good balls at times, and it's just been a little bit too hard for the receivers to bring it in sometimes. So it's really something that on paper looks like he's having a bad start to this year, but at the same time, when you watch their games, you know he's playing the quarterback position at a pretty good level.
So now once again in Jaguar territory from the Jags 49-yard line, keeper for Mayberry around the left side. Flag comes out right at about the line of scrimmage. So you may have a hold here. Really didn't gain anything on the play. And it's going to be a hold against Enid, and they're going to push him back into their own territory.
Well, I got some time. The players to watch on the Enid side of the ball. Caleb Stanley, the big offensive lineman. It's tough to miss him. Big number 77. As I've already talked about, plays that left guard spot, and he does a lot of good work up on the offensive line. Blake Priest, we've mentioned him a couple of times out there at the wide receiver position. He's also plays the backup quarterback, so if it ever gets into the situation where he needs to slide into the pocket, he can do so. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Jaden DeMaricott is a great safety. A little bit undersized for somebody that really is even playing football in general. I mean, 5'3", 150. You see that and you think, man, that's not really like a football type body, but man, he is an impact player out there in the secondary.
Another penalty against Enid is going to push the ball back now to their own 34-yard line. So they're moving backwards. 1st and 25 for the Plainsmen. Mayberry barks the signals, rolls it to the right side. Going to keep it, turns upfield. Got 5, about 10 yards on the play out to the 44-yard line. As he decided to take on that Jaguar defense himself. Looked like it was a kind of an RPO play, but really deciding to keep it pretty early in that read.
Well, and I wouldn't say it was a bad decision either. He got a lot of good yardage out of it and makes it a shorter way to the marker, as obviously those penalties knocked him back quite a bit. Now looking at about a 2nd and 15 or so. And that's much more doable than a 25-yard difference between you and the line you're trying to get to.
Right at the 45-yard line, 2nd and 15. Jaguars show blitz. Gets the pass away, but kind of hindered in following through as he was trying to get the pass there to number 13. That's Drew Simmons. But it's short and incomplete, and that'll bring up a 3rd and long, about 3rd and 15.
And this is where I bring up the speed from those linebackers. Number 22, Josiah James, came flying in and brought some pressure on the quarterback there, making it tough for him to really get that pass off as comfortably as he would want to. And that's your job as a linebacker, especially when you're told to go on that bull rush blitz.
Mayberry drops to throw. Quick little slant, a little too low and incomplete. Unable to hang on to the pass there was Dagan Gibbons, and that's going to be a 4th down situation and looks to be a punting situation now for the Enid Plainsmen with the line of scrimmage at their own 45-yard line.
Obviously the best call is to just punt this one away. 4th and 15. It's not really going to be a very makeable down. You need quite a bit of luck to get there. And then sitting at the 45-yard line, you don't want to give Westmore good field position if you don't make it. So punt this one away, make Westmore work hard for their touchdowns.
Enid in punt formation. Snap is back, not really much pressure, although they did get pretty close to getting a hand on it. Fair catch called for, taking it about the 21-yard line. And that's where the Jaguars will put it in play after the fair catch there by Matthew Metcalf. And we'll get another look at that Westmore offense, who's had it twice, moved it with ease both times. First time they fumbled it away, and the second time they found the end zone.
One thing I thought was really interesting, you already mentioned how Dayton Wolf has already thrown for 1,000 yards in this season already.
Yep.
And that's so fast. Last year he only had 1,800 yards total throughout the entire season. So saying 1,800 through 10 games, whereas opposed to now we are 3 games into the season, and he's already got 1,000. He's turned it up big time this year.
It's funny because when I interviewed him for Coach Williams for the Football Preview magazine, 19th Street, he said, well, those numbers that you were talking about, the 1,800 yards, and he goes, we need him to double up on that this year. And you think, going from 1,800 to 3,600, that's quite a jump. I don't think that's going to happen, Coach, but here we are. And he may have been a little bit of a soothsayer as far as that's concerned.
He's absolutely on pace for it. May even beat out 3,600 if we're being honest at this pace.
Because he's averaging, right at about that mark is where he would end up. So a penalty was called against Westmore. There's Rashawn Woods on the sidelines. He's the first-year head coach at Enid.
You mentioned earlier his success at John Marshall, won a state title there, and then I believe he reached the state semifinal in another year, and had a compiled record over his 6 or 7 seasons there at John Marshall of 54-18. So obviously took John Marshall up to the higher ranks of their division, and that's his job now at Enid, is to take one of the larger schools now in 6A and build them up and make them a powerhouse just like he did at John Marshall.
So once the officials get it all straight, you can see our white cap in the background. He says, let's go. Let's play some ball. Dayton Wolf says, I'm ready. Handoff right side, going to get about 3 yards. Not much there. Good job by the Plainsmen on defense to close that hole very quickly and drop the ball carrier. When you have so many different ball carriers, as we've seen with Westmore here in the early going, you're never really sure who to key on. Back there right now, you have Josiah Hardrick, number 1, behind Wolf. Play action pass, fake it to Hardrick, and the pass over the middle is complete. Hooking up with Dylan Taylor there, and that's going to be enough for a Westmore first down.
Well, and bouncing off that topic, one thing I think that makes him even more tough to predict is the fact that Hardrick and Arnold have both already caught passes tonight. So when your running back has hands like a receiver, and then he has the quick feet of the running back, it makes it so tough to defend, and that's why we see those real dual-threat running backs taking over the NFL nowadays.
Here's a pass downfield. That's complete. Caught all the way down to about the 20-yard line. Pass completion there to number 10. That's Andrew Metcalf. He's one of the Metcalf twins. And that's going to set the ball right up at the 20-yard line in Enid territory. So the Jaguars knocking on the door once again. Pass over the middle. That's complete. Trying to back his way into the end zone, getting it all the way down to about the 5-yard line. That's Taylor once again.
This offense is moving so quick, I don't even have time to gather my thoughts. I wanted to say something about the long pass play, and they already traveled 50 yards up the field and set up the offense. So I just was like, all right, I'll let Steve take the call.
And right back at it they are. Wolf, turn, give, big hole, left side. Kind of ran into the pile that time. Stopped short. Maybe the 2, the 3-yard line perhaps for Josiah Hardrick.
Tackled by 45, Donovan Raymond. Number 3, J.D.
So the Jaguars threatening to put some more points on the board as we get down to the final minute here in this first quarter. 2nd and goal from the 3. Wolf takes the snap. Hardrick left side, tries to get to the corner, and he does not. Loses a yard. Good job by the Plainsman defense there. Number 45, one of the first ones there, that's Donovan Ryman. He's a sophomore outside linebacker, and that's a nice play.
Yeah, he's a big sophomore, I'll tell you that much. He's got a lot of time to grow into his position, and if he's already playing on the starting lineup, you can't imagine what he's going to be in 2 years.
See what Westmore calls here in a 3rd and goal now from the 5-yard line. Wolf, empty backfield, quick toss, end zone through the hands of the intended receiver, trying to hook up there with Taylor once again, and the pass goes incomplete, and that'll bring up a 4th down situation.
And I'll tell you one thing, this Westmore offense working so quickly, it really wears down the defense. It makes them tired as you get down to these red zone situations. On that play, the defensive line almost looked like not a single one of them made a move off the line. It was just like they ran straight forward and hopefully just got a push on the offensive line, or the offensive line make a misstep, because they weren't going to make any quick steps.
4th down for the Jaguars. Wolf going to keep it left side, and he's going to get into the end zone for the Jaguar touchdown. He saw something he liked. Quarterback draw that time. Went over the left side. As we'll get a look at the replay, Dylan, in a big hole on the left side for Wolf to run in behind.
Yeah, and we've given him a lot of credit as a passer, but we haven't really talked about how he can run the ball. He really is a serious runner, as that quarterback position is. He put in 10 touchdowns last year on the ground, and already another one added to his tally for this year, which I know he's already got a handful in that category so far in 3 games.
Swinging gate once again on the 2-point conversion is good. Kind of the jump pass, if you will, as they find Tyson Edwards in the back of the end zone. So they missed their first attempt. They get the second. And as the first quarter comes to a close, the Westmore Jaguars now on top of Enid. They lead it 14-0 right here on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week.
Our tradition for my football team is we dress up, shirt and tie. I had a tie, but I didn't know how to tie it. Usually I would have my dad help me when he was deployed. I'm thinking, don't worry about it. My grandma should know.
He says, can you tie a tie? And I'm like, no. But we're on our way to Chick-fil-A.
I recognize them because they came into our store so much. Miss Bertha and Mr. Terrence, I'm like, of course, I'll help them out and show them how to tie a tie.
It wasn't just the tie, it's what was in your heart.
It's my pleasure. Doing good, man. You got it.
Beautiful Thursday night here in the state of Oklahoma. We are in Moore tonight. We're at Moore School Stadium. As you look from the Westmore sidelines, the Jaguars have had 3 possessions. They've gotten into the end zone 2 different times. The last time, the run in from the quarterback, Dayton Wolf. They got the 2-point conversion, and now Westmore on top, leading Enid by a score of 14-0.
Well, and you mentioned the Moore Stadium. That's one of my favorite venues as a road opponent. I've been there a few times, being a part of Broken Arrow's video production and all of that. So being on the sidelines and being in the press box for their stadium they've got there, it's a real nice facility. A lot of good things about that stadium and in that area. I think that Westmore's got quite a good thing going, I guess you could say. I was looking for a different word, but a good thing going up there. The press box, like I said, it's real nice. It's
big too.
It is.
A lot of the places that we go to, when all we're asking is to get 3 people in the booth, and a lot of places it's not that easy to do so. And plenty of room up there at Moore School Stadium. Plus, they've always got the pizza there that's always real good, and some desserts for you as well. They treat you right whenever you stop in there and, enjoy a football game, whether it's Westmore or Southmore or Moore. Had the opportunity to cover 2 Moore games already this year, one at Norman, another one at Moore School Stadium. So I've seen enough of the Moore Lions. They are a much improved team. I've not got to see Southmore yet, and otherwise I've seen most of the really good teams. You talk about the best teams on this side of the state, on the west side. You're talking about Westmore. They're number 6. Norman is number 5. Saw them last week in their game against Moore. They have a really dynamic offense. So those are the hopes from the west side once again. Here's the kickoff after the touchdown to give the Jaguars the 14-0 lead. It goes into the end zone. Automatic touchback, and the Plainsmen will bring it out to the 20-yard line.
Well, and how about last week, Westmore putting up 41 on Mustang, a team that we were calling a couple weeks ago, and we said that Mustang looked like a pretty good team. They had a lot of positive things on their roster, a lot of different players that had a lot of talent. And then you flip the script on it, and it's just a game later, and Westmore is just stomping Mustang.
Well, and you can see here what a diverse offense and key players that the Jaguars have. Going to run their 3-3 defense right now as you take a look. Enid was able to move the ball earlier, got into Westmore territory, faced a 4th down and 3, was not able to convert, and had to give the ball back to the Jaguars as the first down handoff once again goes to Trentavious Mitchell, the senior running back for the Plainsmen, who picks up a couple yards on the first down carry.
Well, Enid probably needs to get a score here. If they don't, then Westmore goes down, and maybe they put up another touchdown or even a field goal at that point. You're 3 scores down, so you've really got to try to get something on the board now. That way you have a little bit of a cushion before you get to that halftime break.
Mitchell trying to go somewhere, gets into the pile. Forward progress will probably give him a yard or two, but not much more. And that'll bring up a third and about 4 or 5 coming up for the Plainsmen. Quickly to the line of scrimmage. See if they can get something going against this Jaguar defense. As you said, Westmore's given up points. 35 that first week to Moore. Shut down Southmore, only allowed them 7 before giving up 21 last week to Mustang. 3rd and 4 the call. It's Mitchell, 3 straight carries, and he's not going to get it. As he gets out to about the 27-yard line, needed to get to the 30, so he's still a good 3 yards shy. And that will set up a punting situation for the Plainsmen.
Yeah, and Enid isn't really a passing offense. We're not going to see them launch the ball down the field a whole lot. They're not going to take shots much more than about 10, 11 yards. They do a lot of quick passes if they even put the ball in the air. A lot of times it is that ground attack. They trust their running backs and run that ground and pound offense.
They actually spotted the ball at the 29, so it's only 4th and 1. They are in punt formation, however. Snap back. Ball is away. Good kick as they get the return across midfield. Look out down the sideline. There's nobody over there. Did he already step out? All the way down the sideline and into the end zone is Andrew Metcalf. And they're celebrating as though this one is going to stand, and the Jaguars take the punt return, get to the boundary, and never look back. What a run by Andrew Metcalf.
Yeah, great return there. He gets that reception off of the punt, kind of hooks left just a step or two, and then comes back right, and boom, he's gone. And you could see that little pitch. You were just motioning to me, that little pitch there. That was what really got him there. He kind of started on that left side, and then the pitch is what it was. I thought it was he had stepped to the left. That's what it was. That really sells the punter team, the punting team, and they come down and they go down on that right side, and it's just all daylight on that side, on that right side of the field.
Matthew Metcalf to his twin brother Andrew on the little pitch to create the touchdown for the Jaguars. You can bet that's one that they're going to treasure.
That's one from the backyard, isn't it?
Absolutely. All right, so the Jaguars now on top. They lead Enid 21-0 right here on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week.
Hold on to me. Don't let me go. Your first name is free. Last name is dumb.
Drive a new Ford Expedition today with 0% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 cash for first responders. Hurry into your Oklahoma Ford dealer.
Welcome back to Moore School Stadium. An exhilarating punt return turned in by the Metcalf brothers. Number 12, Andrew Metcalf, taking the pitch from his brother Matthew and taking it into the end zone for the touchdown. And the Jaguars are quickly on top, leading it by a score of 21-0.
Well, I guess it's safe to say that Enid was seeing double of them, weren't they?
Oh, very good. You know, we talked about, and I get asked this question and have for 20-plus years, is there a team on the west side that can end that stranglehold that the east side teams have had on the state championship that goes all the way back to 1995? I've got some stats that I'll share with you during halftime tonight, or if we have some type of timeout on the field that, is lengthy in nature. Here's the kickoff on the ensuing kick for the Jaguars. Mishandled and then picked back up, gets it out to about the 19-yard line, and that's where the Plainsmen will put it in play, 1st and 10.
I think you and I make a good yin and yang because you kind of know the west side really well. And
yeah.
I'm more of an east side guy, so I know what's going over there in the Tulsa area. So
there's only 4 schools that play in Tulsa, right? Just Broken Arrow, Jenks, Union, Owasso.
Yeah, out of the 6A1, yeah. But I know what they're doing over there. I know what they're up to.
For a long time, they had been the 4 largest schools, but I think Mustang has jumped in there now and maybe displaced Jenks, I think. As you watch big number 77 going over the top of the pile there, that is Caleb Stanley, one of the linemen for the Enid Plainsmen.
Tackled by 51, Dominique Reese.
And we like to talk a lot about size, don't we, when we talk about those offensive linemen? Number 77. You're talking about 6'4", 320.
Wow.
That's a big boy.
And 79, the center, how big is he? He's a big one
Let's
as
take
well.
a look. 79, that's Taylor Fry. He is 6 foot 340.
So they definitely have the size, no question about that. Now they're trying to get something going against this Westmore defense.
Well, they always say you can't teach size, but it's not enough to just have size. You got to have that size, and you got to have, speed and skill along with it. And so this offensive line can be huge, but they've really got to make sure that they're creating holes for their runners, creating enough time in the backfield for the quarterback. And right now, this Westmore defense has got a stranglehold on this Plainsmen offense.
Well, and you even look at number 67 up front, Joseph Vela. He's 5'8", 272. Here's a pass. It's going to be short. It's going to be incomplete. And intended out there for number 23, but unable to come up with the catch is Savion Vasquez. And very quickly, a fourth down situation coming up for Enid. So their first drive, they were able to get a couple of first downs, but since then, they've not been able to do much offensively.
No, and I've talked a lot about the Jaguars' speed on defense, and right there, bringing the house again, about 5-6 guys coming back there into the backfield. Westmore knows to bring the pressure and make that quarterback uncomfortable is a good strategy against this Plainsman offense.
Snap is back. They do get the punt away. Return man set up at about the 45-yard line, trying to get to the outside, and is taken down there. And that is Matthew Metcalf. He distributed the pitch on the last punt return for touchdown. And the Jaguars will start with very good field position in Enid territory, as we still have 8 minutes left to go here in this first half of play. And Westmore has taken over a commanding 21-0 lead.
And I think they tried to play that punt a little bit safer, kicked it a little bit shorter so that way he didn't have as much space back there to start, or even enough space back there to pitch it back to his brother or anything like that. Just make him come to the ball, bring him up a little bit, and at least we can stop him because we've got more guys in the area ready to tackle him.
1st and 10 from the Enid 46-yard line. Dayton Wolf turns. Handoff left side, and that's a good job defensively as they're going to drop him behind the line of scrimmage. And a fine job to get out there and not let go and wait till help arrived. That's going to be a loss of about 4 or 5 on the play.
Yeah, he tried to bounce it outside and follow his tight end on the block, and Johnny Villa came through, got past the tackle, and holds on to the running back's leg, like you said, just hold on and wait for help. And did a great job just keeping that leg down.
Wolf over the middle finds the receiver, pass complete there as he hooks up with number 86. That is Russell Radin. And you can see in the play action pass that he had his eyes on his intended receiver almost the entire way. Another fine play by Dayton Wolf. May have left a little early that time at the left side of the line. And a big hit there delivered by number 21 for Enid. That's Jonathan White. Not much of a gain there for the Jaguars.
And it seems like we're starting to see the Enid defense make some good plays. It's just very spotty. It's not consistent enough to really get stops.
Wolf dropping to throw, looking. Flag on the field. And I think Wolf realizes that this one's not going to count. So likely a penalty coming up against Westmore. As the referee will tell us, and he says that it's going to be illegal motion, I believe, against the Jaguars. So just about 7 minutes left to go before halftime. Westmore will now be looking at a second down and about 14.
We still haven't really seen Colby Phillips get into the game a whole lot.
No, Rabbit.
Yeah, we've got him written down on both of our sheets, I'd imagine, that he's one of those players that you really got to keep your eyes on out there in the wide receivers core 13 catches, 298 yards, 5 touchdowns coming into this game.
And there the pass is unable to hang on to it was Andrew Metcalf. Yeah, Enid maybe read the stats and saw that Phillips is averaging about 100 yards receiving a game, decided to shut him down, but maybe didn't realize that Westmore has a lot of other weapons on the offensive side of the football as well. After Enid tonight, Westmore will then play Edmond Memorial. That should be a win. And then they take on some team from the east called the Broken Arrow Tigers.
Yeah, I don't know about those Broken Arrow Tigers. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I'd like for the two of us to be calling that one. That would be very
That'd be a heck of a lot of fun.
Rolling to the right, Wolf looking downfield. Finding a receiver, pass is caught by Metcalf. Takes a big hit coming in from the far side. Dropped at about the 19-yard line. And taken down there by Luis Vega. But apparently, we have another flag on the field. Looks like they're bringing it back. Ineligible receiver downfield. And so that's going to go for naught. So I continue to look at the Westmore schedule. They have Edmond Memorial, then Broken Arrow, then Yukon, then Edmond Santa Fe, Norman, and Jenks. That's the same schedule they had last year when they started out 4-1 and then went 1-4 the rest of the season and did not end up making it into the playoffs. So, when you look at that, that's a pretty brutal schedule down the second half of the road, especially as good as Yukon has gotten over the last couple of years.
Yeah, as soon as you got into the conversation about Westmore's schedule, I was going to make that exact point, so you kind of stole my my ad in there.
Here's a pass downfield, has the receiver stripped at the last second. That's a nice play. Coming up and making the play for Enid, number 25, and that is Tyrese Neal. Looked like he had it. Did number 14 Tyson Edwards, but just couldn't hang on.
Yeah, we've seen more than a couple of shots taken by this Westmore offense. They kind of run these plays where they're really stretching out the defense just kind of within that 10, 15-yard range, and then wait until that defense starts to predict it, and they start saying, okay, well, we're going to move up because they're not playing very far out the field, and then let that receiver just fly down the field, let him outrun that safety or that corner, and put the ball out in front of him, and right there did a good job putting it on his receiver just right through his hands.
Punting situation inside Enid territory. Punt's going to be fielded. Fair catch taken at the 10-yard line. Taken in there by number 3, Jaden Demericut. A little curious as to why Westmore punted since they were in Enid territory, and nothing disparaging on Enid. Just I think Westmore wanted to practice that and make sure that they get all facets of the games executed here this evening. They've showed that they can move the ball on offense. They've been quite stingy so far on defense. The only question mark to this point has been their special teams play.
That's what I was getting ready to say, was maybe the Westmore sideline just trust their defense enough to say, oh, well, if we punt this one, we'll get it back before halftime. They're not too worried about it. And we have seen their special teams make one play, the touchdown on the punt return.
Mayberry throwing downfield, pass is deflected, goes up in the air. Free football, nobody able to come down with it, and the pass goes incomplete.
Yeah, dangerous play there, and one thing that I wrote down on my notes was that Enid doesn't take a lot of shots down the field. I wonder if the quarterback's not terribly comfortable taking those shots past maybe the 15-yard marker from the line of scrimmage, and that one falls incomplete, luckily.
Matthew Metcalf goes down on the field. Looked like he was holding a left arm. We're going to step aside very quickly. We'll come back with Westmore on top of Enid, 21-0 on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. Welcome back, everybody. As you can see, just about 6.5 minutes left to go here before halftime. Westmore in control, leading it by a score of 21-0. Number 12, Matthew Metcalf, went down with an injury, and they got him up, and hopefully it's nothing serious, as you always hope whenever you see a young man go down. And Enid will take over on offense, trying to get something going and see if they can put some points on the board here before halftime.
Yeah, we haven't seen much success from this Enid Plainsmen offense, but when we have, it's usually been runs up the gut, and I think that's something that they're more comfortable with rather than putting that ball in the air.
Handoff to the right side. Not much there. You asked about games tonight, other games that are going on. Other than this one, Midwest City is playing at Lawton. McGinnis is playing at Northwest. And Clinton is playing at Newcastle. So those are some of the other games to watch here on this Thursday evening of high school football in the state of Oklahoma.
Thursday night lights.
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Okay. And a reminder, we will be back at you again tomorrow night, Bethany and Blanchard. Big 4A contest. And we'll have all the action and the call for you right here. Mayberry in trouble, throws it away, and it's intercepted, taken down on the far side. And coming away with the football is number 5 for the Jaguars. That's Dejion Simpkins. Simpkins coming away with the interception and great field position for the Jaguars.
Yeah, and right there I think that the quarterback Mayberry just felt some pressure in the pocket and said, you know what, I'm going to get rid of it. I don't know if he was intending to throw that out of bounds or if he was aiming for that receiver that was within a couple of yards of it. But if he was shooting at that receiver, he definitely was off target, and it was a tight window, double covered. So let that ball just fly out of bounds and take the 4th down. Don't need to take the shot because now you give Westmore even more momentum. And on top of that, look at the field position they have.
Yeah, great field position. At the 11-yard line. Jaguars with a 1st and 10. Little screen pass set up again nicely as they get it out to Hardrick. Hardrick inside the 5 down to about the 3, maybe even the 2-yard line before he is finally gang tackled on the far side. So Jaguars trying to go up by 4 scores here with still about 5.5 minutes left to go in this first half of play. Wolf has had a very good evening up to this point. Looking, end zone, fires the pass. Had it, lost it, big hit. And another one of the Jaguars goes down in the end zone, going to be a little slow to get up. I believe that is Colby Phillips.
Yeah, and has the right idea. Try to get it to Phillips in the red zone, but number 21, Jonathan White, coming up from his backside, hits him right in the gut. A legal hit, but hit him real hard. And we'll see if Colby Phillips is able to get back into this game.
So we'll take a timeout on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers game of the week. 21-0 as Westmore is on top of Enid with still about 5.5 minutes to go in this first half, and Westmore knocking on the door.
The right connection can open a world of curiosity for your child. With Cox, families that have a K-12 student and receive government assistance could qualify for low-cost home internet with Wi-Fi. That means more learning and more achieving. Qualify now. It's time to connect with Cox.
Well, you can see making it to his feet, Colby Phillips trotting off. May have just got the wind knocked out of him because he took quite a shot, didn't he?
Yeah, and it was right into that gut area, so that's a good guess. It was maybe just the wind knocked out of him. But yeah, coming up from behind, just shoulder laid the lumber right into his backside. Man, that was a big hit from number 21 on that Enid defense, Jonathan White.
All right, so 3rd and goal now from the 2. There you can see the Westmore offense trotting out there. Dayton Wolf, the quarterback, number 6. Hardrick is lined up behind him as the tailback. Big offensive line. Let's see what the Jags call here on 3rd and goal from the 2. Going to roll it to the left, throw towards the corner, and there's the receiver into the end zone for the touchdown. Reception made there by Tyson Edwards, and the Jaguars increase their lead right now before the extra point attempt, now standing at 27-0.
Yeah, that play looked awfully simple for the Westmore offense. It didn't seem like there was a lot of trickery or anything like that. Gets the snap, kind of just rolls out to that left side. Wide receiver kind of just runs an out route, a short, maybe 5-step out. And maybe 25 got sucked down in. It looked like Tyrese Neal got sucked down, maybe thinking it was going to go to the running back or a quarterback keeper. And because of that, wide receiver is wide open about halfway through the end zone.
It's a wide open wide receiver. Extra point attempt coming on to take care of the kicking duties is Matthew Lopez, and that is no good. Blocked at the line of scrimmage, and that will send them back to the sideline. So we've seen that they've gone for two a couple of times, tried to get the extra point attempt there, unable to convert, and that'll send us to a commercial timeout with just over 5 minutes left to go here before halftime. Westmore on top 27-0. You're watching your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week.
Ford Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView Cox Channel 3. Friday night, the Edmond Santa Fe Wolves go to Harv Collins Field to play the Norman North Timberwolves. These teams are itching to make playoff runs in 2019. The fans will be howling when the Wolves and Timberwolves hook it up Friday night. It's Edmond Santa Fe and Norman North Friday night at 7 live on YurView Cox Channel 3. Start your Friday night with the Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
All right, back at Moore School Stadium, Steve Marshall, Dylan Rivera, and the crew from YurView. Thanks for tuning in tonight. And the fans of the Westmore Jaguars have to be happy right now, as they have gotten themselves out to a 27-0 lead. They've played well offensively, as they have not allowed any points on the board, but or defensively, when you look at the offense, though, there are just so many pieces to this offense here that it's got to put other teams on alert the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, so many different weapons. We talk about the Metcalf twins, Colby Phillips, Brandon Arnold, Hardrick, both of those guys out of the backfield, and that's not even mentioning the fact that their quarterback can also run the ball. So you've got so many different players on the field that can make big-time plays, and that stretches out that defense and makes it really tough to try to figure out what they're going to do next.
Kickoff taken at about the 6-yard line by the Plainsmen. Tripped up and fighting his way out across the 30-yard line. On the return, that is number 3 once again for Jaden Demericut for the Enid Plainsmen. And their first drive, they were able to get a couple of first downs and move into Westmore territory. They've not been able to do much offensively their last couple of possessions. As you take a look at the big guys up front for the Jaguars, big number 66 out there is Josh Stewart. Number 60 is the opposite side. That is Elijah. And on first down, running play to the right side. Pass is tipped and goes incomplete. The other guy in the middle for Westmore's defensive front in their 3-3 scheme is number
51,
and that is Dominic Reese. They list him at 5'9" and 260.
Well, and you talk about the defensive front, and I think they do get a good push almost every time out. But what I'm watching every time is these linebackers. They're bringing in at least 2 linebackers every single time, and that kind of gets some momentum coming at those offensive linemen who they've got beat in the speed game every single time.
Running play, picks up a couple of yards again. Ball carrier this time is Nikki Chinoska, number 22. Running back, senior running back for the Enid Plainsmen. Long way to go in this high school football season. This is the district opener for both these squads. Running play to the near side, going to get out across the 40.
22, Nikki Chinoska, tackled by number 3.
See if he gets them near enough to where they do get the first down.
He did a great job on that run of lowering his shoulder. I mention it a lot of times, the lower man wins. So if you get low enough, You put your shoulder pad and your head into him, you'll get through him, and right there he did. Just got the legs wrapped up in him, but still enough to pick up the first down, so a good run up the middle from Chinoska.
Mayberry dropping to throw, gets some pressure off the edge there, and the pass is deflected at the line of scrimmage. And the pass goes incomplete. There's one of the linebackers that you were talking about getting into that backfield and causing some havoc.
Yeah, number 22, Josiah James. He's a very talented player out of that middle linebacker, outside linebacking core. He has caused a lot of problems today. He's already been involved in more than just that last play. And you'll see him really put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Here he comes into the play once again from the far side.
Gets it out near midfield. Plainsmen trying to put something together here before the end of the half and get some points on the board. Enid, take a look at their schedule as we move along here in this first half of play and who they will be looking at down the road after we get this play off here. Mayberry, the quarterback. Give into the middle, gets it out to about midfield. Maybe just a bit shy of that. Clock now getting down close to 3 minutes to play.
Well, one thing is new head coach Rashawn Woods has his work cut out for him because this Enid team, first of all, just moved up to 6A1. They are a new addition to that top tier. And then on top of that, they haven't had a winning season since 2010, and their last playoff win, 2006.
Wow. And they have Jenks next week, then Santa Fe, then Norman, then Edmond Memorial, UConn, and Broken Arrow. I mean, if you're going to be realistic, 1-2 wins at the most might be all they're able to gather this year. So I'm sure Rashawn Woods knew that when he took the job and just had to swallow and say, okay, you know, the first couple years might be a little rough, but look at my track record and what I was able to do at John Marshall. I can do the same thing here at Enid. Nice quarterback draw. Good read there by Mayberry. May actually draw a penalty on the end of that as he was sliding and then took the hit anyhow. No flag does come out, and they'll spot the ball at about the 35-yard line.
Yeah, I was kind of 50-50 on that one. I feel like if they had called that, I would have been okay with it, and if they hadn't, it would have been okay with me as well. I mean, it was just at that time where it wasn't like he was all the way down yet, but you could tell he was going down, and that's one of those kind of iffy plays, one of those gray areas in being a referee.
Here's Mayberry's pass to the near side of the field, incomplete, as he was trying to hook up there with number 8, Dagan Gibbons. Just over 2 minutes left to go here before halftime. Westmore on top, leading at 27-0. During our halftime show, Dylan will be checking some scores from across the state. There aren't a whole lot, but there are some top teams that are playing in 4A, 5A, and 6A. We'll have those scores for you, hopefully. Running play left side, trying to find some running room, and getting a couple yards is Mitchell, and a flag on the field.
And it looked like that tackle maybe could have even happened a little sooner. Devontae Frazier was in there, and almost like he kind of hesitated to hit him, was afraid he was going to make a move or something, the running back. And instead, he just kind of kept moving forward and got another yard or two out of it because of the hesitation. You've got to make sure you just tackle him as soon as you get there. Don't worry about making whether the running back's going to make a move or not. Get low, and you're ready in your stance. You're going to make that tackle if you've got your eyes up and your head up.
It's a face mask call against Westmore, so maybe he had a hand on the face mask, and that's why he let go. But a first down either way, right at the 2-minute mark for the Plainsmen, and we've got a timeout on the field. It's going to be an official timeout as they work out something here, apparently. We'll take a timeout ourselves, come back, and, well, it's an injured player on the field who's making it to the sideline, so we'll be right back after this quick break.
Ford Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Friday night, 2 of the state's 6A Division II powers hook up at S.C. Williams Stadium. 3-time 6A Division II champion Bixby Spartans play the Booker T. Washington Hornets, holders of the only other 6A Division II championship. It'll be a tussle in T-Town when the Spartans and the Hornets open district play. It's Bixby and BTW Friday night at 7, live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Kick off your Friday night with the Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
Welcome back, everybody. There you saw a promo for one of our upcoming games, Bixby and Booker T. Washington. All right, Mr. Eastside, what's with Bixby, man? They just get better and better every single year. Lauren Montgomery's doing a great job with the Spartans up there.
Man, it's crazy because every year I think, okay, well maybe this is the year that somebody finally, stops Bixby from being one of those top-tier teams. Maybe this is the year that Bixby kind of takes a back step, and it never seems like they do. They're very consistent up there in that top tier of 6A2 football, and I think really, if we're being honest, they could probably compete in 6A1 pretty well as well.
They're playing some of their best football, and what have they won? Like 3 of the last 4 of the last 5 in 6A2. Been fortunate to call a couple of those state championship wins, and they definitely have it going, no doubt about that. And boy, the way they handled Jenks earlier this year.
Oh yeah, it was a thrashing of the Trojans, and it was, it was just crazy to see. And I don't want to say that maybe it's like, Jenks isn't as good this year, because Jenks is always a good football team.
Sure.
And I would count on them to be somebody who's always a contender in 6A1.
All right, another time out on the field. We'll take one as well. Be right back.
Ford Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Thursday night, the Bishop Kelly Comets will be at Tulsa's La Fortune Stadium to play the Edison Eagles. What will the Comets do to stop Edison's record-setting running back, Sevion Morrison? Edison may have their hands full with Kelly's Cooper McMurray, as both teams try to get a good start in district play. It's Bishop Kelly and Edison Thursday night at 7, live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Thursday night is football night with a Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
We're at Morris School Stadium, getting close to halftime. Enid getting closer and closer to the end zone, trailing 27-0. You know that they would love to get something to go into the locker room with and have some positive thoughts, getting into the end zone and getting some points on the board. The quarterback is Maddox Mayberry. He's going to throw a quick shot over the middle. That's going to be good enough for a first down inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line, hooking up there with Cam Mathis, sophomore wide receiver.
Well, we haven't seen many completed passes from the Plainsmen tonight, so that's a good sign there. Maybe get the quarterback into a rhythm. Maybe we can get some passes completed on the offensive side of the ball here.
Clock will run once they get the chain set, and is running as we speak. Umpire is saying, hold on, let's make sure everybody is set, ready to go. Seems like they taking especially long in that particular attempt. Oh, low snap. Loose football going to be picked up by the Jaguars. And if he could have picked it up clean, he would have went the distance. Number 22, Josiah James. And that ball never got 3 inches off the ground, I don't think, from the center.
Yeah, Josiah James now has a hurry on his record. He has a pass deflected and now a fumble recovery. He is on top of his game tonight. And, man, like you said, that snap just from the start, it did not look good. It was very low. The quarterback can't get to it. And that's one of those instances where you say, well, maybe just fall on the ball, especially this late in the game. Just fall on it. And it looked like maybe that's what he was going for, actually, and it kind of just got away from him.
So Enid threatened again. They threatened on their first drive, but that was their best scoring chance here, and certainly would have loved to have gotten that taken care of before halftime. Now they have to turn around and play defense. And Dayton Wolf has this Westmore offense clicking, throwing over the middle, has the receiver, pass caught, big hit. Reception made there by Taylor. Out at about the 46-yard line. Stop the clock, move the chains, and then they'll restart it. And here we go. Dayton Wolf having another big first half of football. Rolling to his right, looking downfield. That pass broken up. Nice defensive play by Enid, and getting his hand in there was number 26, Johnny Villa. Stops the clock with just under a minute left to go here in this first half.
I'll tell you what, this Westmore offense has made my job easy tonight. They're moving so quickly. You go from calling the play, and then they line up and they're already set for the next play, so I don't even have time to get a word in.
Empty backfield this time. Wolf downfield, has time, throws, far side, wide open. Pass is complete, that time there to number 23, Cabron Grant.
Where was the defense on that one, Steve? I couldn't find him.
Nobody in the neighborhood. Grant, who saw a lot of action early in the contest, that's the first time we've called his name since maybe the first drive, as he got wide open on that play. Again, so many weapons that Wolf has. Receivers, tight ends, slot receivers, running backs. Empty backfield here, and a great offensive line to give him all the protection in the world. And another completion. Working his way and being spun around and picking up yardage as he goes once again is Taylor, all the way down to about the 6-yard line.
No, and he probably should have gone down another 6 or 7 yards back, but ended up just kind of dancing his way through, and then, like you said, spinning around. He was doing, like I said, a dance out there, and ended up getting all the way to the 7-yard line. So a great pickup there, and now we're looking at a first and goal with just about 25, 30 seconds on the clock.
Jaguars stop the clock as they gather around. They want to make sure that they get into the end zone here before halftime. And how many times have we've said that Wolf is back to throw, and he's had just all kinds of time, and receivers are just getting wide open. There's Coach Lorenzo. They call him Coach Zoe there in the middle.
And I think this Westmore offense is looking really good, but at the same time, on the other side of the coin, Enid lost one of its biggest playmakers on the defensive side of the ball, Dylan Gow, an inside linebacker, to a torn ACL against Ponca City, so he'll be out for the rest of the season. But one of those valuable members of the defense, and I believe he was a senior. I may be wrong on that, but definitely somebody that was going to have a big role in the Plainsmen defense this year.
Jags should have a couple of shots at this if they don't get it on the first try. Fade to the corner. Defense is going to get whistled for the infraction there as they were trying to hook up with Colby Phillips. Defender never turned around and was running over Phillips as he was trying to guard the man or make sure that he didn't catch the pass. That did not work out so well.
Yeah, and you're allowed to get pretty handsy with him up to a certain degree. But one of the biggest things is you've got to turn around, like you said. You got to be able to find that ball, track the ball, because otherwise you're just playing the player and not the ball. So right there, he's going to get called for that one. Half the distance to the goal, they only get a couple of yards out of it. But still, under a minute, under 30 seconds here, Westmore has already proven they know how to put the ball in the end zone.
Wolf give in the backfield and getting into the end zone. Touchdown for the Jaguars. That's Brandon Arnold. And unless there's a flag on the play, and does not appear that there is, that'll be another touchdown for the Jaguars as they increase their lead. Watch the big hole in the left side.
Yeah, and that one again, it's another touchdown that looks really simple for Westmore. They kind of just hand it off to that left side, and it seems like the defense isn't there in time, and I think it's a lot of credit to that offense. You see the right guard get pulled over to the left side and block up that linebacker from making the play, and it's an easy gap into the end zone for 6 points on the board for the Westmore Jaguars.
Try to throw the quick slant on the extra point attempt for 2. That pass is incomplete. Well defended. And we've got a timeout right before halftime. The Jaguars get on the scoreboard once again as they lead Enid 33-0 here on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week.
Tradition for my football team is we dress up, shirt and tie. I had a tie, but I didn't know how to tie it. Usually I would have my dad help me, but he was deployed. I'm thinking, don't worry about it. My grandma should know.
He says, can you tie a tie? And I'm like, no. But we're on our way to Chick-fil-A.
I recognize them because they came into our store so much. Miss Bertha and Mr. Terrence, I'm like, of course, I'll help them out and show them how to tie a tie.
It wasn't just the tie, it's what was in your heart.
It's my pleasure. Doing good, man. You got it.
Welcome back to your Oklahoma Ford Dealers game of the week. And the Westmore Jaguars well in control of this one as they lead Enid by a score of 33-0. And it's been Dayton Wolf, and boy, he's just, whether he hands it off, throws it. We've had a punt return that the twin brothers handled and took it in for a touchdown. I think we've not seen a defensive touchdown yet. We saw a defensive return that got inside the 10-yard line that resulted in a touchdown. But the Jaguars are flexing their muscles here tonight at Moore School Stadium as they lead it by a score of 33-0.
Well, and this defense for Westmore, sculpted by Nino Williams, who has a pedigree of playing at Missouri, a guy who knows Coach Zoe probably through there is my guess, the connection out there in Missouri. And he used to be at Broken Arrow, actually. I mentioned to you, he used to be like a safeties coach out there. And obviously now getting the reins of this Westmore Jaguars defense. And, man, has he got them rolling. He has got quite the team out here. That's I've talked a lot about the speed. He uses those linebackers in a quick way where he's got them flying to the ball, and it's a lot of speed in that second unit.
Trying to make some moves there on offense. Creed Skidmore for the Enid Plainsmen. And unless they throw an incomplete pass, we'll probably be looking at upcoming the final play of this first half, totally dominated by the Jaguars tonight, leading it by a score of 33-0. Again, coming up at halftime, we'll check some of the scores from across the state. I mentioned that Midwest City was taking on Lawton tonight. Newcastle and Clinton were doing battle this evening. So a couple of the bigger games, and there was also a 5A game tonight that drew our attention as well. As Enid is just going to kneel it down, and that'll be the end of our first half of play. It's all Jaguars after 2 quarters of play here at Moore School Stadium. The Westmore Jaguars on top of the Enid Plainsmen. Our score, 33-0, Jags on top. It's your Oklahoma Ford Dealers game of the week, and we'll be back.
The right connection can open a world of curiosity for your child. With Cox, families that have a K-12 student and receive government assistance could qualify for low-cost home internet with Wi-Fi. That means more learning and more achieving. Qualify now. It's time to connect with Cox.
The Ford Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Friday night, 2 of the state's 6A Division II powers hook up at S.C. Williams Stadium. 3-time 6A Division II champion Bixby Spartans play the Booker T. Washington Hornets, holders of the only other 6A Division II championship. It'll be a tussle in T-Town when the Spartans and the Hornets open district play. It's Bixby and BTW Friday night at 7, live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Kick off your Friday night with the Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
Our tradition for my football team is we dress up, shirt and tie. I had a tie, but I didn't know how to tie it. Usually I would have my dad help me, but he was deployed. I'm thinking, don't worry about it, my grandma should know.
He says, can you tie a tie? And I'm like, no. But we're on our way to Chick-fil-A.
I recognize them because they came into our store so much. Miss Bertha and Mr. Terrence, I'm like, of course, I'll help them out and show them how to tie a tie.
It wasn't just the tie, it's what was in your heart.
It's my pleasure. Doing good, man. You got it.
The Ford Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Thursday night, the Bishop Kelly Comets will be at Tulsa's La Fortune Stadium to play the Edison Eagles. What will the Comets do to stop Edison's record-setting running back, Sevion Morrison? Edison may have their hands full with Kelly's Cooper McMurray, as both teams try to get a good start in district play. It's Bishop Kelly and Edison Thursday night at 7 live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Thursday night is football night with a Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
Just got paid, my heart say go, go. Have a time called Saturday night. Now I'm feeling fine, I'm gonna rock it up. I'm gonna rip it up. I'm gonna shake it out. Gonna ball it up. I'm gonna rock it up and ball tonight.
Drive the new Ford Ranger today with 0% financing for 60 months plus $2,000 total savings. Hurry into your Oklahoma Ford dealer.
Welcome back to Moore School Stadium. As you can see, our halftime score here, the Westmore Jaguars well in control at the break as they lead it by a score of 33-0. Steve Marshall, Dylan Rivera, and the crew from YurView with you once again as we take a look at some of the first half highlights. And if you're a Westmore fan, you're going to like the highlights because it's mostly all about Westmore. And here we see them get into the end zone for their first touchdown.
Yeah, we talked about really early on and really throughout the game, Dayton Wolf, the quarterback. I mean, he was a player of the week candidate in week 3, and week 4 he's looking like he may repeat that right there. A touchdown pass to the left side, just a short little screen pass to the wide receiver, let him take a step back, and he'll pull that one home and gets to the end zone, 6 points on the board.
It's Cabron Grant who gets into the end zone, and then Westmore here in a very big pass play as Wolf once again goes up top.
Yeah, you talk about the time. You talked a lot about how that offensive line was giving him time in the pocket, and right there he had plenty of time to step up and let that one fly, and that one soared all the way down to about that 30-yard line or so, and the wide receiver, number 10, Metcalf, comes up with the catch. I should say Andrew Metcalf because there's 2 of them, so Andrew Metcalf pulls that one in, and a big gain for the Westmore Jaguars.
And then Westmore on the Wolf this time on the ground, keeping it himself and getting into the end zone.
Yeah, that was the second touchdown of the day, and Wolf has put up a lot of scores through the air. Well, you know that, but at the same time, he's already had 2 rushing touchdowns coming into this game, that one being his 3rd, so he can do it on the ground as well.
All right, and then we're going to see Westmore here on defense. That's the reverse play. Yeah, special teams.
Yeah, the reverse play from the twin brothers, and like I said, that's maybe backyard. Maybe they tried that one out before and said, hey, Coach, what if we did this? And give it a shot, and then right there ends up a touchdown. So I know Lorenzo Williams is a big fan of that one.
Nice play there, and then Westmore was not done scoring by any means. I think this is going to be the interception that they had as Mayberry's looking downfield and just kind of throws it away, or so he thought he was, and it was picked off and intercepted there by number 5, Simpkins, who brought it down deep into Enid territory to set up our next highlight, our next touchdown run for the Jaguars.
Yeah, and this one just a pretty straightforward play. Like I said, I don't know exactly what had happened. I think number 25 out there, that kind of cornerback linebacker, I couldn't tell what exactly he's playing out there. He gets sucked down looking at the running back or even the quarterback, maybe a keeper is what he's thinking, and then lets a wide receiver just kind of pull that out route just a couple of yards out and get the end zone. And 6 points on the board for Westmore again.
Enid's threatening, but they couldn't get out of their own way, and here's a bad snap, and Jaguars get all over it.
Yeah, that one never even caught air, and in the shotgun formation, you've got to get it all the way back there to that quarterback. A bad snap, and then, like I said, the best idea is just fall on it, but then as soon as he falls on it, it looks like his arm maybe got a piece of it, and he knocked it further away from himself, and then Westmore able to recover, and number 22 on the defensive side of the ball has had quite a game, Josiah James.
And then, of course, Westmore's able to take that and then drive the length of the field and get their final touchdown of that first half.
Yeah, this one I hand off to Brandon Arnold right up to that left side, and one thing that I think is really interesting up to this point that I was thinking about throughout that first half, and I just had it confirmed now by our highlights, is a different player every single time in the end zone for the Westmore Jaguars.
Good point, right. All right, 33-0 is our score. Westmore is on top of Enid. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll check some of the other scores from across the state on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. Stay with us.
Ford Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Friday night, 2 of the state's 6A Division II powers hook up at S.C. Williams Stadium. 3-time 6A Division II champion Bixby Spartans play the Booker T. Washington Hornets, holders of the only other 6A Division II championship. It'll be a tussle in T-Town when the Spartans and the Hornets open district play. It's Bixby and BTW Friday night at 7, live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Kick off your Friday night with the Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
The right connection can open a world of curiosity for your child. With Cox, families that have a K-12 student and receive government assistance could qualify for low-cost home internet with Wi-Fi. That means more learning and more achieving. Qualify now. It's time to connect with Cox.
Your Oklahoma Ford dealers game of the week. And right now it's all Westmore. The Jaguars on top. They lead Enid by a score of 33-0. Not a very heavy schedule tonight, Dylan, but what other scores do you have for us?
Well, Clinton is at Newcastle, and at the same time they are down 7-21. I should say 21-7, but it is what it is. Newcastle has the lead at half. We mentioned Bishop, McGinnis, and Northwest. That one is way out of hand. If you're talking about our 33-0 on this scoreboard looking bad, how about 56-0 at halftime over there? And finally, the one that probably interests me the most, first of all, a team that we're going to call later this season in Lawton High School is 3-0 right now, and they are playing Midwest City, who is 0-3, and Midwest City has the lead at half right now, 14-7. So we are in an upset alert. And if you're an Enid fan and you're watching this game, I do have some good news for you. Tomorrow is Bethany Blanchard, and you can watch that game because that one will be a lot of fun.
That will be. All right, so we've got that, and we still have a second half to go here. Enid trailing Westmore 33-0 is our score. We'll take a timeout. Come back, get ready for second half action. Stay with us.
Tradition for my football team is we dress up, shirt and tie. I had a tie, but I didn't know how to tie it. Usually I would have my dad help me when he was deployed. I'm thinking, don't worry about it. My grandma should know.
He says, can you tie a tie? And I'm like, no. But we're on our way to Chick-fil-A.
I recognize them because they came into our store so much. Miss Bertha and Mr. Terrence, I'm like, of course, I'll help them out and show them how to tie a tie.
It wasn't just the tie, it's what was in your heart.
It's my pleasure. Doing good, man. You got it.
The Ford Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Thursday night, the Bishop Kelly Comets will be at Tulsa's La Fortune Stadium to play the Edison Eagles. What will the Comets do to stop Edison's record-setting running back, Sevion Morrison? Edison may have their hands full with Kelly's Cooper McMurray, as both teams try to get a good start in district play. It's Bishop Kelly and Edison Thursday night at 7, live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Thursday night is football night with the Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
The right connection can open a world of curiosity for your child. With Cox, families that have a K-12 student and receive government assistance could qualify for low-cost home internet with Wi-Fi. That means more learning and more achieving. Qualify now. It's time to connect with Cox.
Waving your banner all over the land.
The band would like to thank the administration, parents, and all patrons who support them, as well as the following businesses: Dental Depot, Mid-First Bank, Chat's 5 at DBS, Black Bear Diner, Progressive Dental, Capitol Hill Florist, State Representative Chris Kennedy, the Midland Group, Esper Chanda, Communication Federal Credit Union, Oklahoma Electric Cooperation, Gregory Sporting Goods, Dental Associates of South Oklahoma City, Westmore Animal Clinic, Todd Lance, Edward Jones, Castrol Quick Lube, Casino Domino, Qdoba at 104th and 10, and Performance Mechanical Sheet Metal. Thanks for making this year a great one.
What kind of monster schedules their wedding on game day? Send them a toaster and get your pizza. Where the dress code is stage shirt optional. You don't have to bring us a gift. We already have a gazillion TVs. Buffalo Wild Wings.
I'm Dr. George Ellisall. TMJ is a condition that presents with different symptoms. The most common symptoms are frequent headaches, pain, or limited opening and closing of the jaw. I have successfully treated TMJ over the last 30 years, and it brings me tremendous pleasure to give my patients relief and make them feel better.
Brandon's Plumbing has been giving you a service for over 30 years.
And I just got paid. My heart say go, go. Have time cause it's Saturday night. Now I'm feeling fine. I'm gonna rock it up. I'm gonna rip it up. I'm gonna shake it up. Gonna ball it up. I'm gonna rock it up. And ball tonight.
Drive the new Ford Ranger today with 0% financing for 60 months plus $2,000 total savings. Hurry into your Oklahoma Ford dealer.
The Ford Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Friday night, 2 of the state's 6A Division II powers hook up at S.C. Williams Stadium. 3-time 6A Division II champion Bixby Spartans play the Booker T. Washington Hornets, holders of the only other 6A Division II championship. It'll be a tussle in T-Town when the Spartans and the Hornets open district play. It's Bixby and BTW Friday night at 7, live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Kick off your Friday night with the Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
And welcome back to Moore School Stadium. As you can see, the Jaguars out on the field, getting that mandatory 3-minute stretch in before they resume play. Lorenzo Williams there at the bottom right hand of your screen, watching his special teams guys out there practicing their kicking. Very impressive first half. Dylan Revere's alongside, 33-0. Jaguars did about whatever they wanted to do on offense, and they also played some pretty good defense as well.
Yeah, we kind of expected coming into this game that Westmore would take the lead by the final whistle, but we did not expect quite the lead at halftime, that's for sure. The offense is really just a spread out offense. I mean, we talked about it as we were taking over the halftime highlights. A different player scored every single touchdown so far in this game. So Westmore's got weapons from top to bottom. I'd imagine their second unit even has weapons if they really wanted to play those guys. It's really just an explosive unit on the offensive side of the ball. And then that defensive side of the ball, they are fast. I'm talking these linebackers. They're in the backfield within just a couple of seconds. That quarterback doesn't have a lot of time. And they're only rushing 3 off the line, but then there's 2-3 linebackers that are always coming with a fast running start. And those Enid offensive linemen, they're real big, and so they seem like they're kind of clumsy and not so quick on their feet. And so those linebackers are blowing right past them and getting pressure on the offense every single time out. And so both sides of the ball, Westmore has just been dominating Enid. And Enid has gone down the field a couple of times. They just haven't been able to find the end zone or put points on the board, both times falling just shy. But Enid has moved the ball, so we'll see if maybe one of these possessions here in this second half, they can put something together and start getting on that scoreboard.
All right, so the Jaguars are all set to kick it away here to begin this second half of play. And the long line drive kick is going to be taken into the end zone. Automatic touchback, and the Plainsmen will bring it out to the 20-yard line where they will have it 1st and 10. Enid did not offer much on the ways of offense. We did get to see the running back, Trentavious Mitchell, had a couple of nice runs in there. A lot of this obviously having to do with that Westmore defense. So Westmore not just good on one side of the football, they're good on both, as we have seen here tonight. We'll see what adjustments both teams have made, and if Enid is able to come up with anything offensively against this Westmore attack. Also take a look at some of the other games that will be played tomorrow night as well. We mentioned that we will be covering Bethany and Blanchard right here again tomorrow night. Don't forget to join us for that big 4A matchup. And then some of the other games that'll be contested will be UConn at Norman. Norman is unbeaten, the highest ranked team on the west side of the state. Norman North is at Mustang. Tuttle is going to host Tecumseh. Southmore and Moore do battle. And of course, some of the other games, Union Owasso, Broken Arrow, Jenks, also in action tomorrow night. First down pass is incomplete, or second down pass is incomplete. A little bit low, intended there for number 8, Dagan Gibbons, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
I think that east side of the state, those Tulsa area schools, it's really kind of wide open for whichever team really wants to take it. Out of those 4 schools that we talk about always being at the top tier, all 4 of them have really either had a good win or a good loss to their name that really is kind of like, well, I guess if you point to that, they look like this. And so it's kind of just a toss-up for which team is going to be in that state title picture, and I think that really kind of makes this year just all that much more interesting.
Mayberry on the quarterback keeper is going to get good yardage and get it out good enough for a first down. They're going to spot him out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. So a gain of 15 on the play gives them a first down.
And you talked about Norman's off to an undefeated start. So is Westmore. They've already gotten off to a 3-0 start, and now definitely in line to have a good game here against Enid at least. If they can hold this lead, they'll move to 4-0, and at that point, they look very similar to last year. As we talked about, their schedules are identical with the tough opponents at the backside of their schedule. So they'll have to play those 6A East Side teams later in the season, and we'll see if the momentum they build here early on can get them a couple of wins later in the year and maybe start to get into that playoff picture and maybe talk about a playoff win.
1st and 10 for the Plainsmen. Mayberry hit as he throws the football, incomplete, nearly picked off. Right there in the vicinity was Dejon Simpkins. Got his hands on it, but a lot of pressure coming from that weak side. I'm not sure that Mayberry ever saw the youngster that was after him on that play.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about with those linebackers getting the pressure. And that was Keyshawn Oliver, number 32, the outside linebacker, coming around that left side, kind of the back side of the quarterback, really the blind side of him, and comes up behind and makes the hit as he throws, or at least enough pressure that he didn't get a comfortable pass off. And so this is where I say, Westmore's linebackers are really maybe the key to this defense.
Mayberry looking to throw. Throws to the far right side, and it's intercepted. Could be a pick 6. Going back the other way unless there's a flag on the play. An interception and a pick six for the Westmore Jaguars, coming away with it. Number 22, you said it earlier, he's been all over the place on defense, Josiah James.
Now, we've talked a lot about Dayton Wolf all game long, talking about how great of a player he is. How about Josiah James on the defensive side of the ball with a fumble recovery? He's got more than a couple of quarterback hurries, passes deflected, and now a pick six. This man is all over the field. You mentioned all over the field. He's literally everywhere. I mean, he is making plays from top to bottom, and it's making the game so difficult for Enid, and he is on top of it today.
So another touchdown. We got a player down for Enid. Looks like he is trying to make his way to his feet. Still have the extra point attempt to come. Looks like it's 23 that is down for, that would be Savion Vasquez. And it looks as though we're going to take a timeout here. With the extra point still to come, Westmore leading Enid 39-0, our score on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week.
Tradition for my football team is we dress up, shirt and tie. I had a tie, but I didn't know how to tie it. Usually I would have my dad help me, but he was deployed. I'm thinking, don't worry about it. My grandma should know.
He says, can you tie a tie? And I'm like, no. But we're on our way to Chick-fil-A.
I recognize them because they came into our store so much. Miss Bertha and Mr. Terrence, I'm like, of course, I'll help them out and show them how to tie a tie.
It wasn't just the tie, it's what was in your heart.
It's my pleasure. Doing good, man. You got it.
Welcome back, everybody. Westmore in for the extra point attempt after the Oski pick six. So they've scored on the ground, they've scored through the air, they've scored on a punt return, and they have now scored on the, again, the interception return for touchdown. So they are finding all kinds of different ways to get points on the board here tonight. Still trying to get the extra point in. Matthew Lopez in for the extra point, and his kick is up, and it is good. So just underway here in the second half, and Westmore has extended their lead. They're now on top by a score of 40-0 on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. Welcome back, everybody. It is a Westmore kind of night. The Jaguars have increased their lead, now on top, leading it by a score of 40-0 after the Oski pick six by Josiah James. And the Jaguars are all lined up and set to kick it away. We just began the second half. So you have to, if you're a fan of football, you want to see Enid, obviously stay in this game as much as they possibly can and start building on some things for the road that they still have to travel down, because as Dylan pointed out, this is their first year in 6A1, and they've got nothing but a tough schedule the rest of the way, really, with some very tough matchups still yet to come. Kick is away, going to be taken right at the end line. So he is able to bring it out. And on the return there is Creed Skidmore, and he gets it out across the 30-yard line, and that's where the Plainsmen will put it in play, 1st and 10. Trying to get the offense going. And it's one thing if your offense just is having a rough night, but it's two things or more when the opposition also presents such a problem. And we've seen Westmore's defense, which gave up a lot of points last year, and actually in a couple of the games they've played already this season, gave up 35 to Moore, 21 to Mustang last week. So they've given up points, but looks like they're getting better and better each week. And the snap goes over the quarterback's head and all the way back to inside the 10-yard line to about the 6 or 7-yard line. Mayberry is able to get on top of it. So problems with the snaps from the center to the quarterback here these last couple of plays. I didn't notice if there was a change at that position or not, Dylan, but last couple snaps have gone awry for the Plainsmen, and they are now deep inside their own territory.
Yeah, and he's going to have to get the timing worked out with his center, and obviously he's going to have to get it all together. This whole Plainsman offense is just kind of in shambles right now. They're falling apart. They've really got to settle in, especially after the halftime break. Settle in. Maybe you're trying to force your hand too much. Calm down, play the game, and let it come to you. When you're putting your hand on the gas pedal and your foot, I guess, on the gas pedal. You don't really drive with your hand on the fast gas pedal. Put your foot on the gas pedal so hard, sometimes it makes that car tougher to drive. Just, slow down, take it easy.
Snap, give in the backfield. Mitchell gets it out across the 5-yard line. But now looking at a 3rd down and 20-some-odd yards in order to keep this drive alive. Not looking good right now for the Enid Plainsmen.
Well, one of their few positives really has been those runs up the middle. We've seen whenever they try to bounce to the outside, usually there's a linebacker there. When they try to put the ball into the air, well, at least he got out of there.
Struggles to get back to what was the previous line of scrimmage, and now looking at a 4th down and having to punt from their own end zone.
Now, the point I was getting ready to make before that was just when they drop back to pass the ball, it doesn't seem like the offense has any more luck. And then right there, another bad snap goes over the quarterback's head, and that one, lucky he gets out of the end zone there. It could have been much worse, and Westmore really could have scored again right there with Oliver back there in the backfield, almost getting that fumble. So Enid lucky to even get to where they are at this moment.
So punting from deep in his own end zone now. Snap is back in good shape. They do get the kick away. May have gotten a hand on it because it only ends up out at the 30-yard line. And that's where the Jaguars will put it in play, 1st and 10. You can see the Jaguars, they can't wait to get their hands on the football because they've had such fun scoring tonight. And we'll start this drive inside Enid territory right at their own at the Enid 30-yard line.
We got 43.67 is their average points per game to this point, and they've already got 40 with still 8 minutes left in this 3rd quarter and then a whole 4th quarter to play. So you know that their average is going to bump up tonight, and they're going to look better going into their next game, especially on paper. But as you can tell, it's not just the on-paper part of it. This Westmore team is very serious on both sides of the ball.
Wolf dropping the throw. Shoots one out to the near side. Pass is caught there by number 17, Colby Phillips. He grabbed that off the top of the AstroTurf there at Moore School Stadium. Gets it all the way down to about the 16-yard line.
Yeah, maybe more like a catcher right there. Get real low, get down and grab that one before it hits the turf.
Running play right side, gain of about 3 on the play. Nice tackle in there by big number 78 for Enid. That's Sean Graves, junior defensive lineman. And Wolf again with the handoff to the far side. That's Cabron Grant, and Grant has nowhere to go. So Enid not just going to lay down, they're going to fight. And even though they started with some great field position, coming up making the tackle was Demericut and also number 25 on the play, Tyrese Neal.
Yeah, he was trying to get around that edge. It was clearly a sweep play and trying to get past that wide receiver, get way outside, and just couldn't quite get there. Tried to cut it back, and at that point the defense was in his space.
Wolf play action, rolls it out. Receiver wide open in the end zone. Touchdown there, caught by number 14, Tyson Edwards, as he gets his 2nd touchdown of the night off the pass from Dayton Wolf.
Another touchdown, another player on the scoreboard. It's getting crazy to think that now every single time they score a touchdown, it has not been the same player to do it. And I think that's just amazing, and it really just speaks to how this Westmore team has weapons from top to bottom. I mean, any one of these guys is liable to catch the ball in the end zone, run it into the end zone, whatever it may be.
So Edwards into the end zone, and now on for the extra point is Matthew Lopez. Snap back, ball down, kick is on the way. Lopez lines this one through the uprights, and the Jaguars have increased their lead, now on top of Enid by a score of 47-0. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back with more on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. Stay with us.
Ford Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Friday night, 2 of the state's 6A Division II powers hook up at S.C. Williams Stadium. 3-time 6A Division II champion Bixby Spartans play the Booker T. Washington Hornets, holders of the only other 6A Division II championship. It'll be a tussle in T-Town when the Spartans and the Hornets open district play. It's Bixby and BTW Friday night at 7, live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Kick off your Friday night with the Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
Your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Bethany and Blanchard. 4A battle coming up. We'll check that 4A score also for that Newcastle-Clinton game that is going on tonight, as Newcastle beat Blanchard last week in what had to be a surprising outcome. And then if they're able to take care of Clinton tonight, that's really going to throw 4A into a quite a mess there. But Bethany tomorrow night comes in at number 2, Sam Brandt as their quarterback, and he's been a good one for a couple years. So Bethany is definitely one of the top teams to watch in all of Class 4A, and we've got them against Blanchard tomorrow night right here on YurView. Don't want to miss that.
And I know you and I both, from the moment that we got the schedule of who we were broadcasting this year, you and I both circled Bethany and Blanchard and said that'll be a good one. That's one to watch right there. So even if you are a casual high school football fan, or maybe you don't even have a relation to Bethany or Blanchard, that's one that you might want to tune into just because it'll be some good football.
Yep, should be. All right, Enid on the kickoff after the Westmore touchdown. Some nice open field running. Look at the juke and jive there by number 3. That is Mr. Demericut. Number 3. You said he's listed at 5'4", 150?
Yeah, something like that. It's 5'3", 150, yeah. You gave him an extra inch.
Well, he's maturing and growing as we're watching. So Enid will now come up and try to get something going. Each time they've gotten a little something going offensively, the turnovers have hurt them. We had the Oski pick 6 not long ago. We had a bad snap on a fumble that stopped the drive that was probably their best drive of the night, deep in Westmore territory. And now back out again is Maddox Mayberry, the quarterback for Enid, dropping, throwing, near side of the field. Pass is complete. That's going to be a gain of about 10 on the play, close to a first down. Reception out there by number 8, Dagan Gibbons.
Well, even as soon as he catches that ball, there's a defender in the area. This is what I'm talking about with the speed of this Westmore defense. It takes just a split second for him to get that ball into his hands, and then not even a blink of an eye later, a defender is making contact with him. Those defenders are everywhere for Westmore.
Mayberry handoff. Nice hole up the middle, and a good run once again. Is certainly he's had probably the best game on the offensive side of the football. Trentavious Mitchell, senior running back. Gotta like his size and his speed, man. He's a good-looking ball player.
Well, and I've been saying most of the night those runs up the middle have been their most successful part of their offense today, and it seems like they really want to pass the ball and kind of try to catch Westmore off balance or something, but if the ground game's working for you, use the ground game.
Oh, my. Snap goes way over the quarterback's head. Mayberry unable to get to it, and it's recovered by Westmore. Now, do we have a flag down on the field? Yeah, we do have a flag on the far side of the field, so this may be offsides is going to be the call against Westmore, so the Plainsmen get a break.
Yeah, that one was awfully close. Another bad snap from that center, too high, and goes right over that quarterback's head. And just, it seemed like he maybe could have made more of an effort to get to the ball, but obviously you want to protect yourself as the quarterback, and maybe you don't quite jump for that one, risk yourself getting hurt. And right there, the defense able to recover, or maybe even he was even aware enough to know that there was an offside.
Right, that's probably what my guess was going to be. High snap again. Mayberry is able to pull this one down, and he's going to throw deep. Left side, receiver out there. Coverage by number 4, Jermaine Hardison, but there are flags all over the place down there, and that's going to be against Westmore. And that'll help out the Enid cause, as long as we don't have a penalty flag back on the pocket area where the referee would call something. He does not, so it will be pass interference. And the Plainsmen will be able to advance the ball a bit further towards the end zone in hopes of their quest to get into the end zone and get some points on the board.
Well, and I know that pass fell incomplete, and it kind of is just kind of a discounted play since there was a pass interference. But at the same time, that was one of the better throws that I've seen Mayberry make tonight. He really stepped up in the pocket and let that one go, and he was on time and on target for the most part. Maybe a little bit too far to the inside shoulder and put it outside, but for the most part, that might have been his best throw of the night right there, and it wasn't even completed.
Running play, Mitchell straight up the middle, 2, maybe 3 yards perhaps. And the line of scrimmage now will be the 22-yard line in Westmore territory. The quarterback is Maddox Mayberry. The running back who's carried the bulk of the load tonight, Trentavious Mitchell. Mitchell will get the handoff. Has a nice hole to run through. He's inside the 10-yard line, still on his feet, all the way down and out of bounds finally at the 7. And a nice run for Mitchell, and a good job by that offensive line opening up the big hole on that left side.
And here we're seeing if Enid doesn't suffer from that turnover bug, they are very capable of getting down the field. So now we've just got to see if they can finally punch their ticket into the end zone. They've gotten close a couple of times, but both times just fell short, whether it be to a turnover or a turnover on downs or even a punt, whatever it may be. And now it's a case of maybe we can do it this time.
High snap again, and Mayberry does his best to come down with it and barely gets the handoff to Mitchell. And then he is tackled right away. He had no forward progress or momentum to help carrying him into that defensive front of the Jaguars, and was dropped pretty much in his tracks. Actually a loss of 2 on the play. That'll bring up 2nd down and 12.
Well, it looked like a confusion between his quarterback and the running back there. He was handing it off, and it looked like he hadn't taken the ball. It looked like maybe he was thinking he was supposed to be in pass block. So the handoff comes maybe just a second or two late, and that gives the defense time to get through that offensive line.
Handoff again to Mitchell. They try that left side where he had that big run moments ago, but Westmore wise to that. He's able to get it inside the 10 down to about the 9-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down for the Plainsmen. And it looks like they're going to take a timeout here and discuss it because they want to get into the end zone. All right, we're going to take a timeout ourselves. Westmore on top of Enid 47-0. The Plainsmen threatening on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. Welcome back, everybody. There you see the defensive group of the Westmore Jaguars. The game is well in hand, but if you're on the defensive side of the football, you don't want to allow any points tonight. And Enid with their deepest penetration inside Westmore territory in this ball game. Inside the 10-yard line, looking at a 3rd down and goal situation. Let's see what they do here. You've got Mitchell in the backfield. And the handoff, they get it to Skidmore as he's coming around on the jet sweep. Picks up 2 yards perhaps. And now that's going to bring up a 4th down situation. It almost appeared, if you were watching the play closely, Mitchell, who was off to the right of the quarterback, was almost leaning towards where they were going to run the football. Now Mitchell is out of the game, so that would, you would think, take any run play out of the contest. In there at the running back position is Chinoska. Let's see what the Plainsmen want to call here with their best chance of getting into the end zone so far tonight. Mayberry, here comes the all-out blitz. He's in trouble. Slips one tackle and then is taken down from behind. Big number 66 for the Jaguars coming in, Josh Stewart. He's had a big game tonight, and Enid will not get in the end zone on this possession, and the Jaguars will take over.
There was absolutely no protection for him on that play. I know there's a lot of guys coming at your offensive line there, but you've got to make some blocks. It didn't seem like a single guy really even got a push there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys in the backfield. It just was too stuffed back there. Not enough time to even read the defense and see where his wide receivers were. Steps up in the pocket, tries to create some more time, and when he does, defensive lineman comes from behind and grabs him, takes him down.
So the Jaguars will take over, waiting to see if they make any changes in offensive scheme of things. Position players, that looks like number 9 in at quarterback. That would be Zane Chavez, 6'1", 174, a sophomore. And that will be the end of the third quarter of play. So Westmore will have the football when we come back, and they've got a new quarterback in the contest. We'll check and see who else might be new to the lineup for the Jaguars when we return on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week.
I'm gonna rock it up. I'm gonna rip it up. I'm gonna shake it up. Gonna ball it up. I'm gonna rock it up and ball tonight.
Drive the new Ford Ranger today with 0% financing for 60 months plus $2,000 total savings. Hurry into your Oklahoma Ford dealer.
Welcome back. Fourth quarter. Ready to get underway here. And the Westmore Jaguars are taking over on offense. As we were going to break there, we saw that Zane Chavez, a 6'1", 174-pound sophomore quarterback, had checked in. Looks like we've got some new faces on the offensive line. Number 57 out there is Javon Tibbs. Number 59, Cortland Snowden. And if you pick up anybody else out there, Dylan, just make sure we give these youngsters all the attention they need. Looks like Ethan Slover, I hope I'm saying that right, number 69, also in the contest. Running play and in trouble on the very first play and pushed back all the way to about the 2-yard line. There's the running back there, Josiah Hardrick.
Yeah, a couple of the players out there that caught my eye was Russell Radin, number 86, wide receiver, and also another wide receiver out there now, Jalen Edwards. He is a sophomore, 5'10", 150. I'd imagine he's one of those players that will get more playing time here within the next couple of years.
Running play. Hardison has running room, and Hardison breaks into the secondary. Look out. Hardison on the far side, a diving attempt. They slow him down just a bit, and he's going to get caught from behind at about the 8-yard line as he just ran out of gas. And a great effort by the Plainsmen. Is that 25 or 26 that was able to bring him down? Either Tyrese Neal or Johnny Villa just would not give up. As you take a look at the play, and he nearly broke that for 90-plus yards.
Yeah, breakaway speed. He took off through that gap, and there he goes. The safety can't quite catch up to him. He makes a diving effort. Number 21 is the one that ends up coming up with the tackle there. Corey White, right there within that 10-yard line, and man, he was gassing it down the field. He almost had it too.
Injured player on the field for Enid. We'll take a timeout. Be right back.
Tradition for my football team is we dress up, shirt and tie. I had a tie, but I didn't know how to tie it. Usually I would have my dad help me, but he was deployed. I'm thinking, don't worry about it. My grandma should know.
He says, can you tie a tie? And I'm like, no. But we're on our way to Chick-fil-A.
I recognize them because they came into our store so much. Miss Bertha and Mr. Terrence, I'm like, of course, I'll help them out and show them how to tie a tie.
It wasn't just the tie, it's what was in your heart.
It's my pleasure. Doing good, man. You got it.
Welcome back to Moore School Stadium tonight. I think we've been informed that they do have a running clock now on the contest, and once we resume play, that will once again begin. 47-0 is our score. The Jaguars having the best of it and looking as though they're about to improve upon that lead, as in at quarterback is Zane Chavez, and he's going to drop the throw. Rolling to his right, still looking, and a nice defensive play to knock the ball away, and the pass is incomplete.
And right before we went to break, we saw Josiah Hardrick take a 90-yard run all the way down to where they are now at this 3-4 yard line. And I was getting ready to say earlier in the game that Hardrick seems to me to be more of their speedy runner, while Brandon Arnold seems to be more of that power runner. And right there, you saw the speed from Hardrick as he burst through the defense and got into the secondary pretty quickly.
Quarterback draw, Chavez into the end zone for the touchdown. And the Jaguars improve their lead, increase their lead now as they are up 53-0 with the extra point still to come.
Yeah, not much I can say on that one. Just kind of a good gap opened up by that offensive line, who have been doing a great job all night. And these guys, some new guys actually, some different faces up there up front. They do a great job as well, creating a opening for the running, or the quarterback, I should say, actually. He's got an empty backfield, so you got to be thinking pass, but instead he'll fake the pass, take just a step and a look around at the wide receivers, and then tuck the ball and go. Designed run for that quarterback, and 6 points on the board for the Westmore Jaguars.
Another extra point attempt on the way from Matthew Lopez. It's up and good. And with the clock at about 9:20 left to go in the ball game, the Jaguars increase their lead, now on top of the Enid Plainsmen by a score of 54-0. We'll take a timeout and be right back.
And I just got paid. My heart said go, go. Have time cause it's Saturday night. Now I'm feeling fine. I'm gonna rock it up. I'm gonna rip it up. I'm gonna shake it up. Gonna ball it up. I'm gonna rock it up. And ball tonight.
Drive the new Ford Ranger today with 0% financing for 60 months plus $2,000 total savings. Hurry into your Oklahoma Ford dealer.
Welcome back, everybody, as the Westmore Jaguars increase their lead. When you talk about the top 10 teams in Class 6A, Dylan, of course, mentioned the East Side schools: Owasso, Broken Arrow, Tulsa Union, and Jenks, 1 through 4. Norman is 5. These Jaguars are number 6. Putnam North at number 7. Mustang, a team that you and I both called a couple of weeks ago, they're at number 8. And the team they played that night, Edmond Santa Fe, is number 9. And Moore, number 10. So I've seen all the West Side schools ranked except for Putnam North, and they all have great offenses. And I guess that's, kind of caught up at the high school level the same way it has at the collegiate level. You don't see too much defense. Now, we're seeing it tonight against an Enid team that obviously is outmanned here this evening. But, in the end, you've got to be able to stop some guys, and that's usually where the teams on the east side of the state, they can play offense and defense, and too many times on the west side of the state, it's either one or the other. But Westmore showing that they can do both in their performance so far here this evening, on top, leading at 54-0.
Well, I've got two notes about what you just said, all that whole spiel, that very good spiel. First of all, we've seen Westmore play a good defensive game just a couple of weeks ago against Southmore, held Southmore to just 7 points. So this is not the first time that Westmore has really shown up on the defensive side of the ball. They are a good defensive team. Obviously gave up 35 to Moore and 21 to Mustang, which really we think 21 to Mustang is a pretty good defensive day as well. So the last couple of weeks played very well on the defensive side of the ball. And then on the flip side of things, I just think it would be a really exciting game. Westmore and Norman should shape up to be pretty interesting as the game finally comes around, and as the schedule continues to tick later into the year. That one is November 1st when they play Norman. And so obviously those two, the lead of the West Side schools, so that would be something that would come into play heavily, is these two teams taking each other on if they're still both in kind of these same positions later in the year.
Ryan Miner is in defensively for the Jaguars. He wears number 52. Also out there, number 28 on defense is Isaiah Campbell. See if I can grab some other numbers out there. Number 7 is Sterling Peters. I believe he's a move-in from the Dallas area. Here's a pass to the right side. That pass is caught. Complete there to number 23, Savion Vasquez, who we saw go out a little bit earlier.
You said Ryan Miner, and the first thing I thought of was OU basketball.
Of course you did. And you can bet, given the gap in between, that the Miners had a very good idea of what they were going to name their son and take full advantage of one of the great basketball players, baseball players in OU history. He had a great junior year, but didn't have a great, and stuck around to play his senior year, but his senior year wasn't as good as his junior year from what I remember.
Yeah, my mom's a big OSU fan, so she always says that one of her least favorite players that they used to have at OU was Ryan Miner. She said they always talked about Ryan Miner. And rightfully so. He was a very talented player.
Oh, yeah. Very good. That's Vega who makes the reception for the Plainsmen. And Enid, again, trying to put something together. Not necessarily for this game here this week, but for the weeks to come to better understand the Rashawn Woods offense and take Enid, which is, again, moving into 6A and only going to get bigger, you would think, as the years go by, and start building a program that can resemble what they had there in the mid-2000s when they, I think, maybe won. No, they didn't win a state championship, but I think they made it to the finals. Yeah, Mark Jeffries, our producer, is going all the way back to Lydell Card. Now that's going way back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Enid has 4 state championships to their name, 1964, 65, 66, and then 1983 being on top of their division all 4 of those years, which, I mean, looking at this game, you wouldn't know it, that Westmore has 0 state titles and Enid has 4 of them.
Westmore is not even. Oh, they played in the title game like their second year of existence. When they lost to, they fumbled. And I always hate to say it was Jeff Frazier who fumbled going into the end zone, I think, maybe to win that game. I know Coach Burris was watching us a little bit earlier. He may text us and let me know exactly the details of that, or maybe he doesn't want to. I understand that.
I know I wouldn't want to talk about it if that was me.
Yep. But I was at a Westmore game many years ago. It was a Saturday afternoon, I remember, and Westmore knocked off Jenks in the playoffs. And back then, that was huge. And they've had some good teams, but just not able to get over that hump. And, you might win a quarterfinal matchup and think you have the upper hand, and then you had to play either Jenks or Union. I think in most cases, Westmore seemed to run into Jenks more often than it did the other schools. Punting situation for the Plainsmen as they get the kick away. Jaguars look to get the return on. They'll back away from it, let the ball roll harmlessly all the way down to about the 21-yard line, and that's where Westmore will put it in play once again, leading our game by a score of 54-0. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Don't forget tomorrow night, Bethany and Blanchard, big 4A matchup, as I have my numbers out now. The number 1 team in 4A is the defending champion Tuttle Tigers. We called them the opening game of the year. They are 3-0 on the season. Bethany is number 2, and then Clinton number 3. However, Clinton was losing to Newcastle. We'll try to get a final on that before we get out of here this evening. Wagner was at 4, then Poto, Weatherford, Broken Bow, Bristow, Hilldale, and Oolaga.
Yeah, the timing of the game hasn't been updated. It still says halftime, but it does say the score is 28-14. So Newcastle is pretty well ahead right now. As the game continues, I'd imagine to probably get closer to the end of the game.
That was an unusual play because we've got a face mask on the call, and it looked like the runner was going down, and the would-be tackler, I got to see that one again on replay, Mark. Okay. That was unusual.
Yeah, he had already hit the turf, hadn't he, whenever the face mask get grabbed.
And then got grabbed. That was an interesting play there. So the yardage on the penalty takes it out to I almost said the 52-yard line, to the 48-yard line in Enid territory. I'm sure that's happened quite a few times.
You're probably not the first person to think that way.
I at least caught it and admitted it.
Yeah.
Chavez with the handoff. Right side, running room. About a 4 or 5 yard gain on the play. The clock continues to roll. With just about a minute and 20 seconds left to go, the ball carrier on that play was Chris Cornish. 6 foot, 220-pound running back. He's a senior. Getting some time in there. Again, Westmore next week will take on Edmond Memorial. Edmond Memorial has seen better days in their football program, certainly, so you would think Westmore would win that before a showdown with Broken Arrow 2 weeks away. Here's Cornish again, trying to get to the outside. He'll get it to about the 41-yard line in Enid territory, and Westmore may have to snap it just one more time.
Yeah, and I remember 2 years ago being at the Broken Arrow Westmore game, and Noah Cortez took off down the middle of the field and hurdled, I want to say it was like a safety that was coming at him, like just straight up hurdled the guy. And I remember on the sidelines, one of his teammates used to get mad that he would do that. He would try to hurdle players. Because he's 6 foot, tall, and he's like 240, he's a huge runner. He's a huge guy. He's a power runner.
Right.
He's got the speed, but you'd think of him as a guy who's going to go through you, not over you. And I remember his teammate going, "Don't do that." Well, all right, fine.
Well, the clock is winding down, and that will and is the final play of the game. It's all Jaguars here tonight as they move their record now to 4-0 on the season with a dominating 54-0 win over the Enid Plainsmen. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, wrap up this game, show you some of the highlights, and check some of the scores before we get away here tonight on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week.
The Ford Game of the Week is the best in Oklahoma, and it's live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Friday night, 2 of the state's 6A Division II powers hook up at S.C. Williams Stadium. 3-time 6A Division II champion Bixby Spartans play the Booker T. Washington Hornets, holders of the only other 6A Division II championship. It'll be a tussle in T-Town when the Spartans and the Hornets open district play. It's Bixby and BTW Friday night at 7, live on YurView, Cox Channel 3. Kick off your Friday night with the Ford Game of the Week. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
Welcome back. Westmore Jaguars victorious tonight as they take down the Enid Plainsmen in convincing fashion. Our final score here tonight, 54-0. The Jaguars did it on offense, and it wasn't 1 or 2 guys that had a big game. It was 5, 6, or 7 different guys that did it offensively tonight for the Jaguars. And on defense, they just shut down Enid, and really Enid had maybe 2 opportunities to score in the contest and were not able to convert either time. So once again, your final score, 54-0. Let's take a look at the highlights in the contest. We'll start off in the first half, and right away, our first touchdown of the night as Grant gets into the end zone on a nice little pass from Wolf.
Yeah, just a screen pass out to that left side. Wide receiver just takes a couple steps back. Grant pulls that pass in, and a short run into the end zone should be an easy 6 there for the Westmore Jaguars.
And then they got a big pass play coming up here. Wolf hooking up with Andrew Metcalf.
Yeah, this one was a long pass down the field. Throws it from about the 25. Doesn't make contact with his receiver's hands until about the opposite 30. So a good long ball. It was on target, on time, and right into Andrew Metcalf's hands, and he had a pretty good day himself.
And Wolf would continue as he would score next on this little quarterback draw here.
Yeah, and obviously an empty backfield, so it's just quarterback back there. You're thinking, oh, he's going to let this one fly, but no, he's going to tuck it and go, and that's 6 points on the board for Dayton Wolf.
All right, now let's watch as Westmore is able to get another touchdown. As this time they're going to hook up with, let's see, this is the punt return.
The punt return, yeah, the Metcalf twins. One of them pulls in the reception of the punt, and the other one comes sweeping around, and he goes, here you go. let you take this one. And then he comes soaring down that sideline right there next to the Westmore bench, and I'm sure those coaches and players are losing their mind on that punt return, and 6 points on the board on that long return.
Matthew to Andrew Metcalf for the touchdown. Now let's take a look here, and this is the pick six, I believe.
Yeah, the interception thrown by the quarterback. This one
didn't get
it. This one just goes out of bounds. The pick six came in the second half. But yeah, the pressure from the backside makes the quarterback feel a little antsy, feel a little uncomfortable back there, and he says, "Oh, get rid of it," and lets it go. And nonetheless, there's a cornerback right there, and that ends up being an interception.
And then to wrap up the scoring in the first half of play, Jaguars once again in scoring position.
Yeah, just inside that 5-yard line, snap to the pistol formation, and wide receiver out there to that left side, number 14. That is Tyson Edwards, and he got on the board twice today, the only player to do so. Everybody else was only a one-time appearance in the end zone, which was really kind of interesting to see.
All right, so with a score of 27-0 now, and this is going to be the fumble recovery here by Westmore on defense. Coming away with the football is number 22, Josiah James, and we already talked about what a big game he had.
Yeah, he had a huge game, and I'll touch on that here again in a minute when we get to the next highlight that he had of the day. But that one, really, he could have probably taken that one to the house. He just couldn't quite get it all together and ended up just falling on it.
And then Westmore going to add to their lead right here. A little running play inside, and that is Brandon Arnold finding pay dirt.
Yeah, an easy run up the gut, and seemed like he just had to make one man miss, and he was into the end zone. A great run from him, and really a great lethal combo between him and Hardrick in the backfield for Westmore.
And then coming up now, here's your pick six.
Yeah, the pick six was number 22, Josiah James, and he was everywhere on this field. You know, we talked about the offensive side of the ball. It was so many different weapons. On the defensive side of the ball, there's a lot of different weapons out there, but man, Josiah James just stood out. I mean, he was head and shoulders above everybody tonight in his performance, so he's definitely the MVP for Westmore tonight, as he had a fumble recovery, he had plenty of hurries and made that quarterback feel uncomfortable, and then right there, the pick six.
And Westmore was not done scoring yet, as they would add two more scores to their archives for the evening. And here we see once again Wolf with another pinpoint pass.
Yeah, that one on the run, so that one makes it even tougher when you're going over to that right side. Then not only that, but he kind of threw almost back towards the left side, which is something you're not really supposed to do. But luckily finds a wide open receiver in the back of the end zone, and it's another 6 points for Westmore.
And then the Jaguars with a new quarterback in there. Number 9 is checked in. That is Zane Chavez. Mr. Chavez going to keep it himself and find pay dirt.
Yeah, two different QB runs find the end zone here for Westmore tonight. That one, Chavez, like you said, a different quarterback that time, but still the same result. 6 points on the board for Westmore. Brings it up to 54-0 as our final score.
All right, 54-0 the final score. Any updates before we get away here on that Clinton-Newcastle game? For sure was one we were interested in. What you got there?
28-21 is the final. Newcastle takes the win.
Wow, big win for the Racers. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. Don't forget, tomorrow night we're back at you again. Blanchard and Bethany, a big 4A showdown coming your way right here on YurView. For the entire crew here tonight, Dylan Rivera alongside Tanner Wade, Brad Shelton, Riley Cowan, and of course Mark Jeffries. We want to thank everybody. I'm Steve Marshall. We'll see you again tomorrow night, Blanchard and Bethany, right here in your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week.